On the program today, we've been talking about the role of media, how challenging it is for journalists to bring the news to you during this time of COVID 19. It's a time of fear, misinformation, information overload, and so much uncertainty. And much like many people, we do work from home too. In fact, this is my sixth week anchoring the show from my house. We have colleagues at CNN International who are doing the same. There's Hala Gorani anchoring her show from London. She's staying safe at home while delivering the news that is needed about this coronavirus. Here's Chrissy Lou Stout in Hong Kong, also working from home. This lockdown has taught us so much, and it's taught her international colleague Max Foster to have fun on TikTok. Foster is CNN's royal correspondent. Max, you've taken TikTok by storm. Welcome to the program. You did it. 1.7 million views.
Wow, yeah. What's interesting about TikTok is it's my daughter that got me on it because she was on her phone all the time. I've got three kids and they were on TikTok and they weren't actually watching TV anymore. So I kind of got involved there. But she said, you should get on there because that's what everyone's watching now, Daddy. So that's kind of how it all started. And then once you start messing around on it, you start realizing it's enormously powerful because you can reach a lot more people a lot more quickly than I think most other platforms right now. It's kind of obviously viral, everyone's on there at the moment, but it's got this algorithm which is a complete mystery and people keep asking me how it works. I have no idea whatsoever, but all I do know is that you can put a video out and whether you have a huge following or a small following, you can get it out to lots of people and it's fun and there's so much misery around.
I like how you say you don't have any idea how it actually works, but the key thing here, which is really interesting, what you said, no, you're able to reach people, you're still able to communicate with them because of these TikTok videos.
Yeah, so obviously I'm working like you from home. We've also got a position that I can go out to, which is sanitised. So I'm working in a normal way as a journalist, as you are. But this is all behind the scenes fun stuff. It's not, this is not a CNN account. It's just that the account that I set up myself.
Yeah.
I think, it's a very positive place, TikTok. And I think the world is very, it's pretty gloomy at the moment. And people are using TikTok. I mean, one of the tweets I saw going around recently was that lockdown for TikTok is what the Gulf War was for CNN. I think that might be a bit of an exaggeration, but it's certainly true that people are using it to sort of while away the time at home and they want to have some positive news as well. But I mean, you've been showing some of my TikToks. One of the challenges early on was people saying you can't do news on TikTok because people don't want news on TikTok. Actually, a lot of the conversations are about news. The big news story now is the virus and lockdown, and that's what most TikToks are actually about. And actually, you can do very serious stories on there as well.
Right,
it just has to have this sort of positive spin to it.
Right. We have enough, like you said, no, we have enough gloomy news, and I guess this is one way for people to cope. And what's interesting is because our work as journalists is that we filter a lot of the news before it gets out there. We need to read everything, and it can be very overwhelming for us. So in a way, I get, and I wonder if that is also why you're there on TikTok. It helps you, unload some of the gloomy stuff or something.
Well, it has definitely helped my journalism, partly because I'm sure as you find, when you post things on social media, you don't always get the reaction that you're expecting. So I'm just thinking of an example, but before all of this, I was in Downing Street covering Brexit. And when I was TikToking, then it would start another conversation. So I remember one day, everyone was responding, talking about a Scottish referendum, for example. So actually, that did affect my coverage, and also I can see what sorts of stories resonate more by going on there. I don't really know. I mean, I'm just experimenting really. I don't really know what I'm doing. There's no great sort of strategy or brain science behind it.
Yeah.
But it certainly
Right.
has, it's interesting to see what
Max
takes
has
people's attention.
Max, as journalists, don't we all feel like, we can always feel that we are not part of the story. We're able to step back. But with this pandemic, do you feel that, do you feel overwhelmed because you know that it affects the entire world, that we are not, as journalists, we are not immortal. We are not invincible. We cannot not be infected just because we're journalists. Do you feel that way too?
Yeah, I mean, there's two things I'd say about journalism. Is one, I mean, I'm not a war correspondent. Don't go to war zones, but this has made me really sort of empathise with what those correspondents do, because every day I am still going out. It's very controlled, as you know. CNN systems are very controlled. It's very safe. But I am going out and reporting. But I do, at the back of my mind, I'm always aware that I could be risking my life, and I could be risking my family's life coming back home, potentially with the virus. So it's changed the way we work, and it's been a huge sacrifice. Certainly my colleagues, I haven't gone into any hospitals, but those doing that are taking huge risks. And I think that journalists have been incredibly brave and important. I think that people are reliant on news because they're locked at home, and it's their only way of finding out what's going on in the world. So it's become more important. But what's really heartening is that our business has been knocked massively in terms of trust by politicians trying to break down trust in media and news. And actually, people have come to news and trusted sources, particularly such as CNN, to find out the truth. So there's been a resurgence in interest in news, and it's reminded people of why we're there. We are there performing a public role. We're there for the public interest, and we're not just there to be bashed. And I think we've gained a huge amount of support through lockdown. So there's the positive from it, I think.
Max Foster from CNN International, thank you very much. Maraming salamat. Thank you for being with us tonight. It is not politics as usual in this time of COVID-19. I'm Pia Hontiveros. Thank you for watching.